Most people know they should budget. They've known for years, but something keeps getting in the way. Not laziness, not lack of information, something quieter. The feeling that budgeting is complicated, that it requires spreadsheets and calculators and a level of organization they don't quite have yet. So they wait for the right month, for a cleaner paycheck, for that moment when life settles down enough to finally sit and figure it out. And the months keep passing. Here's what I've come to understand about that feeling. It isn't about the budget. It's about the story we tell ourselves about budgets. That they're hard, that they're restrictive, that only people who are good with money can actually follow one. Today, I want to show you something different. A system so simple it fits on a napkin. A rule that has helped millions of ordinary people finally understand where their money goes and where they want it to go. It's called the 50-30-20 rule, and once you understand it, you'll wonder why nobody explained it this way before. Let me paint a picture. It's the end of another month. You pull up your bank account. Not with excitement, with that familiar low-level dread. You scroll through the transactions. Coffee, groceries, rent, streaming services, a dinner out, another dinner out, online shopping, a gym membership you meant to cancel, and somewhere in there, nothing left, or close to nothing. The number that's left doesn't feel like enough, doesn't feel like progress, doesn't feel like freedom is getting any closer. You're not doing anything dramatically wrong, you're not being reckless, you're not wasting money on things you hate, you're just living. And somehow, living costs everything you make. That's the silent struggle most people carry. Not crisis, not disaster. Just this constant feeling of financial treadmill. Working hard, earning money, and watching it all disappear without any real sense of direction. The problem isn't your income. It's the absence of a simple structure. A framework that tells you, before the month begins, what each dollar is supposed to. The 50-30-20 rule was popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren in her book, All You're Worth. The idea is elegant in its simplicity. Take your monthly income, after tax, everything that actually hits your account, and divide it into 3 buckets. 50% goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, 20% goes to savings and financial goals. That's it. 3 numbers, 1 decision, made before the month begins. Let me walk through each one. The 50%, needs. Needs are the things you genuinely cannot live without. Rent or mortgage, utilities, electricity, water, internet, groceries, transportation to work, insurance, minimum debt payments. These are not optional. These keep the foundation of your life standing. Half your income goes here. And if your needs are currently taking more than 50%, that's important information. It means something in your foundation needs to be examined. A rent that's too high, a car payment that's stretching you thin. We'll come back to that. The 30%. Wants are not bad. They are not the enemy. They are the part of your money that funds your life experience. Dining out, streaming subscriptions, new clothes, concerts, hobbies, travel, the coffee you actually enjoy. This bucket exists because financial health is not about suffering. It's about intention. You don't have to eliminate every pleasure. You just have to be conscious about which ones you're choosing. 30% of your income is real money. Spend it with awareness, not guilt, and not on autopilot. The 20%, savings and financial goals. This is the bucket that builds your future. Emergency fund, your 401k, your IRA, paying down debt beyond the minimum, saving towards something meaningful, a house, a year abroad, a business. 20% is not a small number. On a $4,000 take-home income, that's $800 a month moving toward your future. $9,600 a year. That is not nothing. That is the beginning of financial freedom, built one consistent month at a time. Let me make this concrete, because numbers in the abstract don't change anything. Real examples do. Example 1. Sarah, $3,500 monthly take-home. 50% needs, equals $1,750. Rent, $1,100. Utilities, $120. Groceries, $280. Transportation, $150. Insurance, $100. 30% wants equals $1,050. Dining out, $250. Streaming and subscriptions, $80. Clothing, $200. Entertainment and hobbies, $300. Personal care, $220. 20% savings equals $700. Emergency fund, $300. 401k contribution, $250. Extra student loan payment, $150. Sarah isn't wealthy, but Sarah has a map. And the map, even for an ordinary journey, changes everything about how you move through it. Example 2. Marcus, $5,200 monthly take-home. 50% needs equals $2,600. Mortgage, $1,500. Utilities, $200. Groceries, $400. Car payment and insurance, $500. 30% wants equals $1,560. Restaurants and takeout, $400. Travel fund, $400. Hobbies, $300. Shopping, $300. Subscriptions, $160. 20% savings equals $1,040. Emergency fund top-up, $200. Roth IRA, $500. Extra mortgage payment, $340. Marcus makes more, but the percentages are the same. That's the quiet power of this rule. It scales. It doesn't require you to earn more before you can use it. It works with what you have, right now. Here's the part most people skip when they hear about this rule. They hear 50, 30, 20, and they think, that sounds good, I'll try it next month. And next month becomes the month after that, because knowing a rule and actually living by it are two completely different things. The reason this happens isn't willpower. It isn't discipline. It's something deeper. For most of us, money carries a psychological weight that has nothing to do with math. We grew up watching our parents stress about bills, or never talk about money at all, or treat it as something shameful and private. We absorbed those patterns, and those patterns became our relationship with money. Avoidance, anxiety, guilt. The belief somewhere quiet and unexamined that managing money is something other people do. People who are more organized, more disciplined, more financially gifted. Not us. And so we keep waiting for the version of ourselves who will finally be ready. But here's the truth. That version isn't coming. There is no magical future self who wakes up perfectly disciplined. There is only this moment, and a choice simple enough to make right now. 50%, 30%, 20%. You don't need to be a different person. You just need a different structure. Here's something honest I want to say. The 50-30-20 rule is a guide, not a law. For some people, especially in expensive cities or with lower incomes or carrying heavy debt, the math won't divide that neatly. Your rent alone might eat 45% of what you bring home. Your student loans might pull another 15%. That's real. That's the reality many people live in. And if that's you, I want to say this clearly. The rule doesn't need to be perfect to be useful. If you can only save 10% right now, start there. If your needs are 60% this year, acknowledge it and work toward reducing it. The percentages are a target, not a judgment. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Because the moment you actually know where your money goes, the moment you give it a structure, even an imperfect one, something shifts. You stop feeling like money just happens to you, and you start feeling like you're making choices. That shift is worth more than the perfect spreadsheet. Let me give you the simplest possible starting point. Step 1. Find your monthly take-home income. Not your salary, what actually arrives in your account after tax. One real number. Step 2. Multiply that number by 0.50, 0.30, and 0.20. Write those three numbers down. Those are your three buckets. Step 3. Look at last month's spending. 1 month, just one. Categorize every transaction as either a need, a want, or a saving. Don't judge what you find. Just look. Step 4. Compare what you spent to what the rule suggests. Where are you over? Where are you under? This is information, not a verdict. Step 5. Make one adjustment. Not 10, not an overhaul. 1. Move one subscription from unconscious to conscious. Automate one savings transfer for the first of the month. Cook at home one more time per week. One adjustment, made intentionally. Repeated. That's how financial change actually happens. Not in a dramatic moment of transformation, in small decisions made clearly over time. The 50-30-20 rule is not a magic formula. It won't double your income. It won't erase your debt overnight. It won't solve every financial problem you have. But it will do something more valuable than any of that. It will give you clarity. Clarity about what your money is doing. Clarity about what you want it to do. Clarity about the gap between the two and what it would actually take to close it. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to money, earning it, losing track of it, wondering where it went, living on the financial treadmill, working harder, earning more, and somehow never feeling like it's enough. The treadmill doesn't stop because your income grows. It stops when you build a structure, when you decide before the month begins what your money is for. 50% for the life you live, 30% for the life you enjoy, 20% for the life you're building. It's a small framework, but small frameworks applied consistently build something that cannot be bought. Peace of mind. Not the kind that comes from having everything figured out, the kind that comes from knowing you are moving in the right direction, 1 month at a time.